Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel Living in Canada. In today's video, I want to share with you how to use public transportation here in Toronto, Canada. Basically, how to get from point A to point B. And by the way, I'm starting to think that I should name my channel Living in Toronto instead. But for now, I'll just leave it because who knows whether in the future I might move to another city. So anyway, before I start, first of all, welcome everyone, especially those of you who are new to this channel. In case you don't know yet, I make videos sharing my personal experiences about living in Canada, working, and also studying here. And if you do not want to miss out on any of my future videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure that you turn the notification bell on to all notifications so that YouTube will notify you of each and every single upload that I make. So let's get right into it. So let's talk about the TTC, or the Toronto Transit Commission here in Toronto. And I would say that the TTC system here is pretty similar to other transportation systems around the world. So in most metropolitan cities around the world, you will have subways, buses, sometimes even streetcars, and you will have some kind of card that you use to pay for your transportation. But of course, depending on which country it is, there will be slight differences. So I hope that I will be able to give you some tips on how to make it easier to get from point A to point B here, specifically in Toronto. So let's get right into it. Like anywhere in the world, when you want to get somewhere, first of all, go to Google Maps. It's the same here. Go to Google Maps, input your destination, input where you are departing from, hit enter, and then Google will give you, usually will give you multiple routes and connections. And pay close attention to the time that it takes for the different connections, as well as the number of transits that you have to make. Because for some connections, you might just need to walk to a bus station and then take the bus all the way to your destination, or in other cases, Google Maps will guide you to take the subway first and then switch to a streetcar and so on. So after a while, you will know your preferences and you will know which one you prefer to take. But especially depending on how mobile you are, whether you have kids or not, you might want to choose the option that has fewer transits and perhaps even less walking time. Google Maps basically shows you all your options, all the connections, let's say 3 types of connections that there are, but it doesn't say anything about the reliability and punctuality because it is just a general schedule. And based on my experience, I would say that Google Maps doesn't give you the most precise information regarding the schedules. During regular business hours during the day, the subway arrives anything between 2 minutes to 10 minutes. It depends on the area of the city and on the particular line, but in general, you can expect that at the latest, every 10 minutes, there will be a subway driving through the station. But this is not the case, unfortunately, with many streetcars and especially buses. Especially if you are a bit more on the outskirts of the city, not really in the center, then sometimes you will have to wait very long for a bus. So in Google Maps, it might say that the next bus will arrive at 2:10, but then the bus only arrives at 2:30. So what is the solution? The solution is that you need this other app called the Rocket app. So you need to download this Rocket app onto your iPhone or onto your Android, and what it will do for you is that this Rocket app will show you the real-time schedule, the real-time arrivals of the bus or the streetcar arriving at the point where you are at. So for example, you are waiting for the bus number 80. Google Maps says that it will arrive at 2:10, but then you open your Rocket app and then you look at when bus number 80 actually arrives, and you see that the next bus arrives at 2:15, for example. And this is really great to know, especially in the winter, because if you know that the next bus will only arrive in 15 minutes, there's no point in right now running out to the bus station, especially when it's super cold. You'd rather just stay at home for a few more minutes until the bus actually arrives. And the great thing about the Rocket app is also that there's a button called the track button. If you go onto that, it will show you exactly the location of the bus or the streetcar that you are waiting for. So you can actually see, okay, I'm here over here, but the bus is actually still over there, and it seems, yeah, it's pretty accurate. It will take the bus at least 10 minutes to arrive to at where I am. So definitely get the Rocket app. It is really a lifesaver. So I'll give you another example. Let's say that you are at Bathurst Station now and you want to go to Toronto Eaton Centre, which is one of the biggest shopping malls here in Toronto. So you can look at Google Maps to get an approximate idea of the schedule of the connections. But after that, if you want to know more precisely when the next bus, or in this case subway, arrives, then you can use the Rocket app. But again, for subways, it's not too much of a problem. I rarely look at the schedules when it comes to subways. So let's move on. Let's say that you already know your schedule, you know when you have to be at this bus station or the subway station. What about your ticket, your fare? How do you pay that? So you can actually still pay cash in most places. I would say you can pay cash on the bus. You can also pay cash at the ticket counters at the stations. But I would really not recommend doing that because, first of all, it takes more time. You need to carry cash with you, and it really slows down the whole process. I can't tell you how many times I was on the bus and then it stopped. Someone got on and wanted to buy a ticket using cash, and then it took them ages to fiddle around, look for a change, and then it just delayed the whole thing. So in this modern day and age, I cannot see a reason why you shouldn't get this Presto card. It's really easy to get, it's really easy to use. And in case you don't have it yet and are wondering how to use it, how to get it, I will put up a link for you here up in the card, so you can go ahead and click on that and find out how to get and use a Presto card. What I like most about this Presto card is that it has what's called the auto reload feature. So you do not need to reload it every time you're about to approach zero, but you can just input your bank details into your Presto account, and then you can instruct it to automatically reload your card once it passes a certain threshold. For example, every time it goes below $10, it will automatically reload your card to get back to $50 again. And that way you never need to worry about running out of money. Okay, so let's just say that you've already got this Presto card, you have money on it. So now how to use it? It's very, very simple. So if you use the TTC, no matter if you're on the bus or the streetcar, all you need to do is just tap when you board. Meaning when you go on the bus, then you just tap. But when you leave the bus, you do not need to tap again. You only need to tap when you go on the bus. And it's the same for subways. But for subways, it will be at the subway station. So when you go through the gates, you will need to tap. But when you exit the subway station, you will not have to tap again. You only do it once. And it's the same for streetcars too. You just tap when you board the streetcar and not when you get off. And another thing to keep in mind though is that this is only applicable to the TTC. Once you use a Go bus, if you use a Go bus, you need to tap off as well. So not only tap on, but when you get off the bus, you also need to tap off so that the system can correctly calculate your fare. But if you use the TTC, then each time it will just deduct the standard fare. I'm not sure what it is exactly at the moment. I think it's $3 something for adult. You can check it out for yourself. And another thing to also know, something really great, is that the TTC has this 2-hour transit period, which means that if you use public transportation, if you tap and use public transportation within the first 2 hours, you do not need to pay again. You can go on unlimited rides and you do not have to pay another fare. So let's say that you tap on at 2 p.m. and you take the subway. After that, until 4 p.m., you are free to use the streetcar and then move to the bus and so on. But remember, every time you switch to another bus, another streetcar or subway, you will have to tap again when you board. Only when you board, but not when you get off. One thing that someone also asked me in the comments of one of my other videos is, when you're on the bus, how do you actually know where you are? I mean, where you are located or how far you are from your destination. So usually when you are on the bus, the system will call out the name of the next destination. So it will, for example, say Bathurst Station or Dufferin Street and so on. But the thing is, sometimes when it gets very crowded and very loud, you cannot really hear clearly what the system is calling out. So in that case, pay close attention to the signage. So in all of the buses, there's a signage which clearly indicates what the next station is. So if it shows next station Dufferin Street and you want to get off there, make sure that you press on the button so the bus driver will know that you want to get off there. But here's one important note. If you are using the bus in an area in which you are not familiar with, sometimes it's also a good idea to use Google Maps in addition to just relying on the signage, because this is what sometimes happens. Sometimes the signage is not fully synchronized with the location of the bus. You know what I mean? So let's say you want to get off at Dufferin Street and the bus has already passed Dufferin Street, but the signage has not switched yet. And in that case, you would risk getting off at the wrong station. And because of that, what you can do is you can use Google Maps. So while you are riding the bus in an unfamiliar area, pay close attention to Google Maps and see where the bus is in real time. So that was it. I hope that this video was useful for you. If you liked it, please make sure that you hit the like button. And also, if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below. And for those of you who have been living in Toronto for a while, in case you feel like I missed out something, feel free to add that in the comments below. I'm sure that would help any other people who are reading through the comments section and who are new here. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.